Derek. You're a senior scientist at the Stockholm Environment Institute, and you're an expert in emissions trading and carbon offset. You have been a speaker at the second session of our carbon market policy dialogue of the project Lab Digits, which was held on July 9 of this year. Your presentation was titled Offsets, Environmental Integrity and ETS Linking in the Age of the Paris Agreement. So could you please summarize your intervention?
Yes, so the theme of my presentation was around criteria for environmental integrity related to carbon crediting mechanisms in the context of the Paris Agreement. And a key message was about how the Paris Agreement essentially changes the landscape for how we think about environmental integrity, particularly related to carbon offsets, carbon crediting. So that traditional kind of Kyoto Protocol model for crediting, for example, is about crediting, recognizing mitigation that occurs outside of an emissions trading system, and through that crediting, allowing that mitigation to be counted towards the meeting of targets within an emissions trading system. With the Paris Agreement now, every country has at least a nominal pledge for reducing emissions. And so what that means is, in some sense, there is no more outside of the emissions trading system. Everything is, in some sense, internal. And so what that means is, for carbon offset or crediting quality, the environmental integrity associated with crediting, traditionally it was focused on what some folks refer to as unit quality, that is additionality, baselines, leakage, permanence, and some of these various criteria for ensuring that emission reductions, credited emission reductions don't lead to an overall increase in global emissions. In the context of the Paris Agreement, we also now have to worry about avoiding double counting. We need to look at the relative ambition of countries' emission reduction pledges. And we need to think about the larger incentives that are created by emissions trading systems and crediting mechanisms, in particular with respect to future ambition and ratcheting up ambition over time. So my presentation addressed these various elements and how they interact. And a key point, just to finish, is that unit quality still matters. Basically in all cases. There are situations you can imagine where it's not essential for environmental integrity. If you have ambitious targets for reducing emissions and you are vigilant about avoiding double counting, this can make it, create a situation where unit quality is not essential for environmental integrity. But even in that situation, if you do not pay attention to unit quality, then the country that's transferring away mitigation still needs to worry about overselling risk, that is, trading away phantom reductions, for example, that then make it more difficult for them to achieve their NDC pledges. So in all cases, we need to worry about, pay attention to unit quality. But the context in which we talk about environmental integrity is broader now with these various considerations.
Thank you, very insightful. We had in this event different stakeholders, negotiators, representative of the UNFCCCs, ETS regulators, and many different representative and interest ahead. So what would be your main takeaways from the discussion with other speakers and with the other participants of the policy dialogue that we organized?
So I think some key takeaways are that Article 6 under the Paris Agreement, the possibility for international cooperation is critically important. It's a key tool that could be used to achieve global efficiencies in how we address climate change, mitigate emissions. But it's important to get the design right of these systems to meet these essential criteria for environmental integrity. So avoiding double counting, ensuring that there is ambition to countries' mitigation pledges, ensuring unit quality, and also paying attention to how market mechanisms can be used to raise ambition over time, that they don't just serve to kind of induce everyone to lower their ambition. So paying attention to these larger issues is critically important. That said, we're within Article 6, there are a wide range of different possibilities. So either linking emissions trading systems, for example, where you can support the transfer of allowances, which results in mitigation that's maybe not specific. Emission reductions will occur, but it's not clear where they are. An alternative, given these other concerns about relative ambition, for example, is to base trades on a kind of crediting style transfer, where you do know the specific actions that are generating the mitigation. You can ensure unit quality and you can ensure environmental integrity that way. So there are different options on the table. And I think the challenge going forward is to design systems that leverage these different options appropriately in different contexts, depending on who the partners are. And one of the ideas that was raised in discussion, for example, was to try to build up these systems through carbon club approaches, where you have maybe a smaller set of countries agreeing on appropriate mechanisms given their circumstances, addressing these various concerns and building a system that can effectively leverage and raise ambition over time.
Many thanks. Indeed, it's quite a topic, and we also see that on the way to Glasgow and to the COP26, more and more jurisdictions, parties, and stakeholders are talking about these teams and clubs to enhance the ambition of the Paris Agreement and tackle climate change not only individually as a national contribution, but also as groups and as different parties, to also reduce the cost of the ambition and the climate action. So thank you very much, Derek, for your time and for accepting this interview. We look forward to welcoming you next time in person in Florence for the next Carbon Market Policy Dialogue.
Thank you. I would love to be there. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
With a contribution from the LIFE program of the European Union.